All right, let's look at this question. So solve this system of equations. We have three variables, three equations, so potentially we can solve. How do you solve this? What do you need to do to start?
Make it a matrix.
We're not going to do matrix yet. We're just going to solve it like algebraic way.
No.
Huh?
You have one variable on one side and you somehow get rid of like the other two. So yeah.
No,
Okay, we can use substitution.
Start with Z. You can cancel.
All right, so there are two ways. You can either use substitution or you can use elimination. If you use substitution, then you have to write one variable in terms of the other two and then substitute. So that's one way to do it. The other way, if you want to do elimination, you have to pick one variable and get rid of it in all three equations. Which one do you guys prefer?
Elimination.
Elimination? All right, which variable do you guys want to eliminate? Yes, correct. Z is going to be the easiest one to get rid of. I'm going to number these. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have to add or subtract two equations together so that Z is gone. What do you guys want to do? Huh?
Yeah,
Subtract what?
no, not subtract. Plus them together so that.
Which ones?
2 and 3.
2 and 3. All right, 2 plus 3. So 3x minus 5y plus z equals 14. Number 3 is 2x minus 2y minus z equals 3. We're going to add them together. So that's 5x minus 7y equals 17. All right, I need to get rid of z from another two equations. 1 and 3. All right, so 1 plus 3. So x minus 2y plus z equals 7. And then 3 is 2x minus 2y minus z equals 3. That is 3x minus 4y equals 10. Okay, now that I successfully got rid of z from two equations, I can use those leftover or the newly created equations, which there are two, with only two variables, and then I can continue eliminating. So 5x minus 7y equals 17, and then 3x minus 4y equals 10. They are now my two new sets of equations. I can keep doing what I was doing before. So elimination is probably the fastest way to get rid of this. So do you guys need a review, or you guys are okay? You can do this. You're okay? Okay. All right, so go ahead and find x, y, and z, and you're going to write it as a coordinate, I guess, order pair. So x, comma, y, comma, z. All right, from here, what you want to do is you want to get rid of x or y. Okay, which one do you guys want to get rid of? X. Okay, so to get rid of x, they have to be the same number but opposite signs. So this just multiply by 3, multiply this by negative 5. Okay, so that's 15x minus 21y equals 51. This is minus 15x plus 20y equals minus 50. Add them together. 15x and the minus 15x cancels. You have minus y equals 1. So y is equal to minus 1. This has to be the fastest way to solve, and you have to do it like this. Please don't use substitution. You get so many fractions, you're going to make mistakes. Then from here, since y is equal to 1, you're going to go back into any of these equations, or any of those two, and solve for x. In this case, x is 2. And the last thing you're going to do is pick any of the equations that you started from. You're going to find z. And z in this case is 3. So then the answer is 2, negative 1, 3. If you forgot how to do that, make sure you review last year's Algebra 2. I think it's in Chapter 3. Okay, now we're going to do this in the matrix way, but yeah, we're going to do this in the matrix way. So there are two matrices ways to do this. First is called the Gaussian elimination. Gaussian elimination. And what it means is we want to get it to look like this inverted triangle or like a side triangle way. So if we can get it into this form, then we will for sure know what z is equal to. Once we know what z is equal to, we're going to substitute into this z. We're going to get a number, and then we get y, and then we substitute into this z, and then this y, and then we can get x. So if you have this triangle, then you can get z, right, because it tells you what z is equal to. Then substitute z into the second equation. That will give you y. Now that you know what y and z are, go back to the first equation, and then you can find x. So this is called the Gaussian elimination. So we're going to try that. But we're going to start with the matrix that we started from in this one. So we're going to rewrite this in matrix form. If you recall from last year, to write it in matrix form, what you do is you take all the coefficients and you write them in rows, and then the equal sign is whatever the equal sign is, and then you have your coefficients on the right. Or sorry, constants on the right. Okay, so let's rewrite that equation into matrix form. So the first equation is x minus 2y plus z equals 7. So that is 1 minus 2, 1, 7. Okay, you're taking just the coefficients and then the constant and you write it across. Okay, the second equation is 3x minus 5y plus z equals 14. So that's 3 minus 5, 1, 14. And the last one is 2x minus 2y minus z equals 3. So 2 minus 2 minus 1, 3. And what I like to do is wherever the equal sign would have been, I put a line through. So that reminds me, on the left of the line, that's all variables and the coefficients of the variables. And then on the right, that's all constants. That way they're not the same. Oh. Yeah, but this one's a little different. Okay, so we're going to play this game called row operation, if you kind of recall from last year. You're like, no. Okay, so this game this time is we need to get this triangle.
Oh, okay.
Just like the Gaussian elimination, we want to get this triangle. That means everything that's not in the triangle should be a 0. That way, whatever I get here corresponds to the right. So when I get this triangle, and then in this triangle, the first numbers have to be ones. Does that make sense? Okay, so it's going to be 1 something something something, 0 1 something something, and then 0 0 1 something. And then because the last one is just a 1 and then something, this is just going to be the number. Because if you recall, this means x, this means y, this means z, and then this is the constant. Okay, so this is the x variable, y variable, z variable, equal sign, and then the number. All right. I didn't write any directions because I guess I assume you guys remember it from last year, and I realized there are some new people who didn't do this last year or may not have done this last year. So we're going to go through some of the game rules of how to do this. First, you can multiply or divide a number to any row you want. You can swap any rows you want. You can also add 2 rows together and then replace a row. Okay, so those are the three things we have to do. All right, and then we got to get into this form. Ready?
Yes.
No. All right. Okay, so the first number, this should be a 1, which it is a 1, so we're good. Next, we need to get this 3 to become a 0. How do we do that?
Oh, make them both 6 so that you can wait. What?
Okay. All right. Let me show you what to do first, and then you guys can follow my instructions later on, or the tricks. Okay. So what I usually do is, if I want to get something to become a 0, I always use the one that became a 1, and then I make that 0. How do I do that? So this is 3, right? To become a 0, I have to subtract 3. I can't multiply by 0, or else the whole row is gone, right? So then I need to make this 3 become a 0 by subtracting 3. And where is that minus 3 going to come from? It's going to come from this 1. So I'm going to multiply the first row by negative 3, add to the second row, that's going to become a 0. Okay? All right. Sorry for those who are like, what is going on? This is too much, too soon. Okay, so I'm going to multiply the first row by negative 3, add to the second row, and then I'm going to replace the second row. So again, the game rule is you can multiply any number you want to the entire row. You can swap any 2 rows if you want. You can also add 2 rows together and then replace that row. You just cannot add a number to a row. That won't make any sense. So you can't add numbers to a row. You can multiply or divide. All right, so negative 3 times row 1, so that's going to be negative 3, 6, negative 3, negative 21. So that's the new row 1. Are you guys with me? Okay, add to row 2. 3 minus 5, 1, 14. 0, 1, negative 2, negative 7. Okay, so I got my 0. That's very good. I like it. I'm going to replace row 2. So every row stays exactly the same except row 2. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this 2. So in A31, the 2 has to become a 0. I'm going to do it the same way I did before. So I'm going to multiply the first row by negative 2, add to the third row, and then replace the third row. All right, so let me number these again. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to multiply negative 2 to the first row, add to the third row, and then replace the third row. Negative 2, 4, negative 2, negative 14. Third row 2, negative 2, negative 1, 3. 0, 2, negative 3, negative 11. One, negative 2, 1, 7, 0, 1, negative 2, negative 7, and then 0, 2, negative 3, negative 11. Are you guys good? Kind of following me? All right, so now let's remember for Gaussian elimination, we're trying to look for this triangle. Oh, let me make sure this negative is. Okay, so we're looking for this triangle. So then I want a 1, 0, 0, something, 1, 0. Okay, I want that to be a 0. That 2 to be a 0. So what do I need to do? Okay, so Mark says take the first equation, add to the third equation. That's going to get this to be a 0, right? Okay, now let's think about what's going to happen. If I add the first and the third together, I'm going to get 1, 0, negative 2, negative 4. Okay, I'm going to, so kind of theoretically think about this. 1, 0, negative 2, negative 4. If I replace the third row with that, what's the problem? Yeah, this 0 that I tried so hard to get to now becomes a 1. So I kind of eliminated all my effort. So that's not a good idea.
So the row 2 and 3?
Yeah, you have to use row 2 and 3. So there's kind of a system to this. That way you don't, kind of kill your effort of doing this. All right, so if you use this one, row 2, because next to it is a 0, you won't affect this 0. So if you use this one, well, how would you use this one to get a 0 there? Multiply by -2, add it together, replace it. Yes? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so -2 times row 2, add to row 3, replace row 3. 0, -2, 4, 14. 0, 2, -3, -11. 0, 0, 1, 3. Okay, I'm going to write it on the right. 1, -2, 1, 7. 0, 1, -2, -7. 0, 0, 1, 3. Do I need to do any more, or am I done?
Yes, you need to change the one.
Um,
Is it already changed?
Yes, I am already done because on the triangle, it's all ones and then everything else is 0. So we're actually good. Now we need to just find what those values are. Okay, so what you can do is rewrite this whole matrix back into equation form. So remember, your first column is all x, second column is y, and the third column is z. Equal sign means the line means equal sign, and then the numbers on the right are the constants. So this just means x minus 2y plus z equals 7. Y minus 2z equals -7. Z equals 3. Are you guys with me? Yeah. Okay, so then you take this 3, put it back into the second equation. So 3 times this -2 is -6. Add it to the right, so y is -1. Are you guys with me? Yeah. Okay, and then take 3 and -1, put it back into the first equation. So z is 3, y is -1, that makes 5. So subtract 5, x is 2. Good? Kind of. Okay, let me see if we're going to practice next. Okay. Let's do a practice. All right, so this is Gaussian elimination. Gaussian elimination has another name. Gaussian elimination is also called the row echelon form. And so I'm going to show you how to do this in your calculator. When you use your calculator, it's going to say row echelon form. Actually, your calculator is just going to say REF. So you need to know what REF means. It's row echelon form. So REF. Okay, again, this form is that the bottom left of the matrix is all zeros. The first entry in any row with non-zero is 1. So triangle, everything is 0 outside of the triangle, and then the first line of every triangle is 1. All right, I'm going to show you how to use the calculator first, and then you're going to do it by hand. Okay. All right, first let's get it into matrix form. That way you know how big this matrix is going to be. Okay, so go ahead and write the coefficients into the matrix. Okay, once you do that, how big is this matrix? 3 by 4. 3 by 4. So then when you go into the edit mode, make sure you put 3 by 4. And then you just type in the entire matrix. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to use the calculator to create the REF, which is the Gaussian elimination form. So you have to go back to the main screen where you have the calculation. And then now you're going to go to second matrix. And then you're going to go to math, where you do all the operations on your matrix, you're going to go straight all the way down to the bottom where it says REF. You have a choice between REF and RREF. RREF we're going to do next, but right now we're going to do REF. So choose that one. And then now the question is which matrix. So you're going to go back to matrix and then choose that one. And then enter. So it's going to be 1, 0.5, negative 0.5, 0, 0, 1, negative 1.4, 2.8, 0, 0, 1, 3. Do you guys get that? No? Okay, so since this is in the REF format or Gaussian elimination, you can go back and find all your numbers. Good. So this is just how to do it by calculator. We're now going to practice doing this by hand. Okay. All the size. Okay, let's do it. 1, negative 1, 2, negative 3, 2, 1, negative 1, 0, negative 1, 2, negative 3, 7. All right, remember we need this triangle. So what's the first number we gotta get rid of? 2. Yeah, we gotta get rid of that 2. So how do we do that? Yes. Multiply the first row by negative 2, add to the second row, replace the second row. Negative 2, 2, negative 4, 6. Second row. Add 0, 3, negative 5, 6. So the key is try not to make mistakes or else it's very hard to go back and figure out what you did wrong. Do you guys think you can do it without me helping you? Yeah? Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do is this negative 1, right? So that should be pretty easy. But after that, you are gonna go to this 3. You're gonna make that a 1. How do you make that 3 a 1? Well, you could try to use other numbers and then try to make it a 1. But actually the fastest way to get that 3 to be a 1 is just to divide by 3. Divide the whole row by 3, that would become a 1. So remember, you can multiply or divide to a row. So if you wanted to just get that to be a 3, you just to be a 1, you just multiply everything by 1/3, and then now the whole row starts at 1. Caleb is shaking his head. You're gonna get a fraction, yes. Not preferable, but it does happen. All right, continue. So let me just give you the answer. The number is -273.